In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, you know DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets just for betting $5 on basketball. Win or lose, you get an instant dub.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code Jenkins, Jenkins. Jenkins. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on basketball. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Jenkins. The crown is yours. All right, guys, are you excited to do some race baiting? It's time for our weekly.
That's what we're best at.
Race baiting Wednesdays.
That's what we're at.
Jackson, you didn't tell us you were recording the podcast yet. You're supposed to count down. All right, race baiting on 3, race baiting on me. 1, 2, 3.
Race baiting.
All right, welcome to Jenkins Jonez on the Volume Podcast Network. It's Thursday, November 30th. Well, obviously, we got a lot to talk about. Welcome to the show. I'm sure there's plenty of people who are listening to their first episode. We're so happy to have you as a Jenkins Jonez listener. Thanks for helping us run the numbers. Been a great week for numbers this week, fellas. The launch of YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we put a clip out. It was like kind of a nothing clip, and it's got 5 million views. Incredible business.
I think it's 7 million now. I think it's 7 million. And you hit me up and you told me, I'm like, I'm not going to check the comments, but hey, sounds good to me. You know what I mean? We knew what time it was. It was early on, baby. We knew we was running the fuck up.
Crazy. Anyway,
a nice race war. You feel me?
Yeah, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube yet, youtube.com/@JenkinsandJones. Full episodes going up there, so you can see how seriously we're taking everything. And the for those of you who asked, a couple people did tweet at me. The full Marrow episode is up as well, so you can go and see. You can see all the various Zoom effects that Marrow had going on that derailed that whole interview. So that's great. As always, Jenkins and Jones, hosted by Dragonfly Jones, aka Tyler.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
LeJethro Jenkins, a.k.a. John.
What's up, Bubbas?
I'm Gardy B, a.k.a. Mike.
Motherfucking
Mac.
Motherfucking Mac.
Motherfucking Mike. How you doing there, buddy? How you doing there, buddy? How you doing, brother?
This is Mississippi Mike here coming to you.
I'll tell you there, buddy boy.
Produced as always by the lovely and talented Jackson Saffon.
What's up?
And all right, man. All right, we've been joking about it. Let's. Well, we're gonna continue to joke about it, but let's talk about it. We put up the volume put up a clip. We put up a clip of our segment where we were talking about the little kid who was in blackface and a headdress at a Chiefs game. The MAGA movement. Tyler made the point that if he was to be even more accurately racist, he would also be wearing red face since he was wearing the headdress. The MAGA movement online stepped in to say, actually, he was wearing red face, which I think they thought was a rebuttal. I'm not 100% sure about that, but we have been for the last 3 days living Trill Withers's actually, it's not racist, and I'll tell you why, my friend meme. In real life, gentlemen, how you guys doing? Are you enjoying the ride?
I've been having a blast. I have been enjoying this because it is also fucking ridiculous. And my whole thing is that, the people who are angry at us, I know they're angry at us because they don't like black people. Like, that's the fucking point. I mean, right? Like that's the crux of the shit. But bro, like, if you watch the clip, we never dragged that kid.
Nope.
Right? Our whole shit was what the fuck are these parents doing trying their kid out like this, right? And I still stand on that. Like, you can look, we seen the little Facebook page that popped up that's supposedly from this kid's mom that just came out yesterday. There's no friends on there. There's no photos on there, but we're just taking the word that that's this kid's mom. And it's like, bro, whatever information you present to me is not going to change my opinion when I ask what the fuck is wrong with the parents for trotting their kid out like this. Like, the kid can be native or whatever if that's the case, but why did you do the fucking face paint, right? Like, why did you do the black face and the red face? That's always going to be a question. Like, why would you set your kid up like that? Well, and like I said, whatever new information comes up, that question is still going to be there.
The other response we got that again was like, I understand this is the form of an argument, but it does not contain logical argumentative points, is people saying he's actually wearing half blackface and half red face. Those are the Chiefs colors. Hey, I've been a professional sports writer a long time. Those are not the Chiefs' colors.
I've never.
The Chiefs
Bro.
do not have black. Like, in fact, we were just laughing about this with the kids last night. We just got a Dick's Sporting Good Christmas catalog for the kids, right? There's a jersey page on there with jerseys from like 30 teams, the Bucks, the Eagles, all this stuff. The only jersey on the entire page that does not have any black on it is the Travis Kelce jersey. It's the only one. There's like 20 something other jerseys. The Yankees one has the black pinstripes. It's the only jersey with no black. No one has ever said, and I have a bunch of friends who are lifelong diehard Chiefs fans. No one has ever said the Chiefs colors are black and red. That shit does not make any sense, bro.
Dog, it's just so ridiculous. And like I said, I think this is kind of an exercise in how you have to kind of digest information, because like I said, everyone's jumping on that Facebook page from that mom, and I'm like, bro, do y'all see this Facebook page? Like, this shit popped up yesterday. There's no activity on it. It's just this, no photos, no friends. I'm just saying like this. If I had a native kid who was catching all this heat, for wearing a native headdress, my whole thing is this, like, bro, if you got the native headdress and you have a native kid, I'm sure that kid has worn that headdress and some other shit, some ceremonial shit, right? Like, drop that picture as a big joker to show us that this kid has worn that headdress, like, outside of the game. And for them to just pop up with a Facebook page yesterday, like, bro, I'm not buying that shit. I'm gonna need to see a little more. Like I said, it could be, that really could legitimately be this kid's mom, but I'm not buying it right now.
What was shocking to me was how dumb everybody was.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't even know what racism is. The definition of racism to them is calling somebody racist. It's not actually being racist. You feel me? We're going to sue. For what? You can sue for anything. Doesn't mean you'll fucking win. What are you going to sue for? I hope he sues the pants off you. All right. Let's see how that works out for you, my nigga.
Bro, they said
what is
there's
actionable?
motherfuckers in the mention saying they're going to crowdsource a lawsuit against us.
Okay.
They're going to go fund us, go to the motherfucking court, dog.
Crazy.
Come on, man. Y'all are ridiculous.
Y'all are
so
fucking
stupid.
I was so shocked by how dumb everybody was. And also, I'm so shocked by how much I didn't give a fuck. Like, I had my brother hit me up. He was like, bro, you're viral again. Are you okay? I said, bro, you know what I'm saying? The whole state of Indiana was on my ass. This is just Tuesday, my nigga. You know what I mean? Went back to doing my shit. Another dude online hit me up. I told y'all about this. Dude hit me up talking about, you had something to say, Mike? You want to join?
Well, no. Go ahead. I was just looking something up. Go ahead.
Yeah. But another dude online hit me up. Y'all might want to delete this, fellas. I had to mute that nigga. I'm sorry, bro. Don't be scary in the club, bro. You feel me?
You hopped off the porch already.
You act like niggas shooting in the club, bro. Relax. It's just a little racism. We black in America. We don't know anything. We familiar with racism, my nigga. It's okay. We gonna be all right. Damn, G. But yeah, it was just, what was shocking was just how these people do not understand things on their base level, and they're so stupid they don't know they're stupid. It was crazy to me.
Well, here's my question. And first of all, look, let me say this, man. We didn't say the kids should get kicked out of school. We didn't say someone should call CPS on the parents. We just said it's funny and racist. Yeah. I stand by both of those statements.
Right. We laughed at the kid. We laughed at the parents.
If you don't think it's funny, I mean, okay, cool. You don't think it's funny. I disagree. We laughed about it for a minute, and we've been laughing about it thanks to the response. We've been laughing about it for 4 days now. If you don't think it's racist, here's my question to you. I'm looking at the Kansas City Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium where I've been. It's an awesome place to see a football game. I'm looking at their list of prohibited items. It includes headdresses and face paint styled in a way that references or appropriates American Indian cultures or traditions. If this kid had been at a Chiefs home game, he wouldn't have been allowed in with that. Why is that? Not because it's racist? Not because it's appropriating Native American culture? Like because it would have blocked someone's view? Is that why they don't allow, specifically they put headdresses on their list of prohibited items? Give me a fucking break, bro. And again, Tyler's made this point a number of times whenever someone pops up saying you guys are race baiting or whatever the fuck, which by the way, we're going to introduce the race bait of the week segment. I'm very excited.
We're going to run them numbers up, baby. If that's what you want, the people have spoken. The masses have spoken. You know,
yeah,
7 million views.
Y'all want.
Once a week, baby. You got some race baiting, brother.
Yes, we're going to Photoshop the white Mike Vick meme onto every athlete that there is. You know, God bless you. You asked for it. You got it. But as Tyler has pointed out all the time, you have to at least allow black people to find racism funny. At the very least, America, I'm asking on behalf of my friends. We can't laugh about it. No one said the kid should lose his job. That, you know, the MAGA movement wants him to be working at 5 years old or whatever the fuck. No one said his parents should lose custody of him. We just said it's funny. And it is funny.
And ridiculous.
And we're going to laugh
and
about
it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
And it was like so many people were hitting us. You should be ashamed of yourself the way you're smearing the kid. Bitch, where are we smearing this kid? Like,
We didn't put the kid's name out there. Y'all put the kid's name out there. I would never put the kid's name out there.
They are smearing the kid. That's how dumb they are. Don't smear
We were
this
laughing
kid.
at
And
this shit.
I can't believe you'd say this about Cody Matthews, who attends Whitridge Elementary School. Like, you know, like we would never do that, bro.
They put that kid's whole government out there, the city he lives in, his fucking Pee-wee football highlights and shit. Like, why?
If I
We
see
didn't
any
ask
one
for-
of you at his Pee Wee football game Friday at 7 p.m. at Veterans Stadium, I'm going to be so angry. Like, what the fuck?
It's
crazy.
like we thought it was ridiculous and hilarious when we first saw it, and the reactions have been even more hilarious, bro. Like, it's just been a nonstop comedy show. Like, you got motherfuckers out there pulling up pictures of fucking Levitard wearing Kane, you know, the wrestler face paint, red and black face paint, saying, this is interesting. Like that's a big gotcha. These motherfuckers are dumb.
Dude.
They're dumb. They're stupid as fuck.
Yes, please state for the record, these motherfuckers are dumb. But yeah, I mean, Pablo Torre quote tweeted somebody who was saying, at Pablo Torre being dressed up as Michael Wilbon in his natural skin tone color with the bald cap on. And he just quote tweeted it with like 19 ellipses and was like, "That's my skin color,
bro." Bro, these people that I don't see color, all they see is color. Because if you don't understand the things that are happening outside of that, other than him, being bald or what I'm saying, Levitard having black and red face, you don't understand the nuance at all. Like these people are just I was so shocked. And then also the people that we saw. Have you seen a nigga from Mississippi before? You know what I mean? Like, I thought Mississippi only existed in theory. Like, I knew it did, but also, like, does it? You feel me? Like, does it really exist? You feel me? Like, bro,
you thought Mississippi was America's Narnia?
Like, I've never known anybody to go there. I've been to every state in the South but that state. You know what I mean? I remember people in Alabama, like, there was a theory that, like, there was a saying that, God bless Mississippi because if we were 49th, they were 50th. You feel me? But I never really anyway. But yeah, that was crazy. Like the where people can't crawling out of the cracks to jump in this shit and say the dumbest things. Ridiculous.
We got a couple other funny things to say about it, and then there's some serious points. But one serious thing I just wanted to say is that, like, Jackson brought up cancel culture before we started recording. Like, this is just like where we're at right now. Get a sense of humor. No one said the kid, we didn't name the kid. No one said there should be any consequences for the kid. We said, wow, someone really brought their kid to an NFL football game in a headdress and blackface in 2023. That's crazy. Tyler made a joke that if he was going to be more accurately racist, he would wear red face. It turns out he's also wearing red face. I made a joke that maybe they put the blackface on him because it was about to expire, like your Thanksgiving leftovers, and they just had to find an excuse to put it on there, to put it on someone. Like, we're just joking about it. And if it bothers you that much, you're the people complaining about cancel culture.
Mm-hmm. Same motherfuckers.
Like, get a sense of humor and chill the fuck out, bro. It's all a joke. It's like everything's funny or nothing's funny. And I have always been on the side, as my family's gone through terrible shit, of everything's funny. It's a healthier way to live, I promise you, than looking for podcast clips to get angry about.
Half the people won't even hear what you said because they didn't watch the video. Motherfuckers were talking about him. Like, I wish Jenkins and Jonez, he should be sued. Nigga, you didn't even watch the video. You know what I mean?
And is one of these guys' middle names. Like,
Jenkins
I
and
can't
Jonez.
believe these two other co-hosts let Jenkins and Jonez talk about that kid that way.
Bro, just absolutely crazy. Every time this happens, I'm shocked that people like this actually exist in the world.
You live a life that's isolated from them, and salute to you for that.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, yeah.
And what about that weak ass community? No, let's discuss that.
That's the next topic on here. Is Jenkins and Jonez beat the community notes?
I didn't know that could happen. That was my first thought. Was that could happen? That could happen.
I'm just gonna say this. anytime you have like, did y'all see the tweet where Elon Musk was like championing community notes? Says anytime you have Elon Musk championing something as being neutral, as being unbiased, that shit is right leaning as fuck. like, let's be real. Let's be fucking real. Like, take a look at who that motherfucker is following. He claims to be this middle of the road neutral dude. This motherfucker's following like Ron DeSantis and Jim Jordan and shit, bro. He is not middle of the road. He is right wing as fuck. So if Elon Musk is championing something as being the voice of neutrality, it is right leaning as shit. And like I told y'all in the text message, I was like, bro, community notes been on some bullshit lately. Like I saw a post where they said, oh, this user's just trying to, farm engagement and get clicks. And I'm like, that's an opinion. That's an assumption, right? Like that's not unbiased fact reporting. And the bullshit ass community note that they put on our shit and got their ass lit up, like that was opinionated. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying something is not racist. You do not have the fucking authority to say that. You know what I'm saying? So
thank you for Big Civilian. Big Civilian tapped in with the quote tweet talking like, that's funny because both sides are racist. You know what I mean? And that ran up the numbers. And he was standing 10 toes. That's not a nigga that was like, you might want to delete this, fellas.
that was the only record.
He can ride in the whip with me. Big Civilian can ride in the whip with me. The other nigga, bro, you got to catch an Uber, nigga. You ain't going to fight when the shit break out. I can't ride with you, my boy.
Yeah, but sincerely, because I am shame on me. I am a optimistic person who like does believe that things can go well from time to time. And the community note thing really did bother me because of what Tyler said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It did bother me because it's like, again, here is Shar and I talk about this. Someone wrote an opinion piece that she read about how you couldn't start Wikipedia today. Or you couldn't start even like Craigslist today because there's not enough consensus about basic facts.
Yeah.
For anything that's user edited to enter the world. So
send me that.
She read it a while ago. I don't know, but only because Wikipedia has been around so long that like there's this entrenched editor culture. Is there at least one place on the internet where there is some sort of like shared reality, right? But that community note, it's like, again, people are talking about our clip. They're not. Almost nobody actually interacted with the clip whatsoever. It's just like, here's the form of the argument. Someone said something that's related to cancel culture, so I'm going to say the thing I always say about cancel culture. And again, the point of like, oh, actually half of his face was red led to people saying it's Chiefs colors, which it's not. And it also led to people saying, see, that proves it's not racist, when the actual clip they're commenting on features Tyler saying the only way it could be more racist is if he was wearing red face. So it just like, it was one of those moments where I'm looking at it and like, am I crazy? Like, do I not speak English? Like what's happening? So to see, thank you sincerely to all our listeners. I know a lot of people were hitting us up saying they voted not helpful on that. Aside from our involvement on it, it's just not a community note that should be applied to any kind of a social conversation. Like Tyler said, like, I don't feel that way about people making an argument on our behalf either. If we're going to have a community note, it's supposed to be objective information, not someone arguing what is or isn't racist. That's what the actual tweets and replies are for. That's not what community notes are supposed to be for. I didn't think. And
it felt like the oldest trick in like the fucking racism denier playbook, where they just picked one thing that we got wrong and nitpicked that to try to invalidate the whole shit. Didn't mention the headdress once in that community note, right? Like it was literally sitting right there on that kid's head. You sent us a tweet from someone who was involved in the community note process, and I want to read that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is from user Oba the Great One. He says, I'm a part of the community notes. I voted for the bottom choice. The stuff that comes across for review be crazy in all caps. I'll read the community note that got posted, then I'll read the bottom one that he said he voted for. So the community note that got posted for us said, the child was not in blackface. The other half of his face was painted red, as can be seen from the photo found at the following tweet. And the whole Chiefs colors are black as shit. And then
they're not, which I just, again, because it was making me crazy.
Yes.
Black is not one of the Chiefs' colors.
Yeah, right. And then this is the note that he voted for that didn't get posted. It said that child is wearing half blackface and half red face. His whole painted face and indigenous headpiece are very racially and culturally inappropriate. It can be offensive to Black, African American, Native American, and indigenous people. Right? Like that was the one that he said he voted on that didn't get approved because like the note says there that could be offensive. Right. It says that. It doesn't say it is offensive. It says it could. And that is like, fact-based reporting there, right? That, yes, some people are going to find offense with this. But for the shit they posted where, nah, y'all are tripping, this ain't racist, none to see it. Like, that was not unbiased fact reporting, bro.
Were y'all moved emotionally by anything anybody said?
Nothing. No.
Not at all, bro.
Bro, no. I don't give a fuck about anything that crowd has to say.
I was moved that the community note was removed. Yeah. That was
I was moved by how much our people rallied around us. Right. I'll say that much.
Yeah, that was fire. That was fire as fuck. The only thing that I could say, I wasn't mad when they put booty holes in our mouths. I actually laughed at it. But I didn't really. Some dude posted an image with booty holes in our as mouths, and I wanted to beat his ass, but not because I was mad, because I laughed at it. I wanted to beat his ass because I want people like to get their ass beat. You know what I mean? Right, that's the only thing I can say I was moved at all by. But I actually thought it was funny. But dog, that shit was crazy, G.
Booty holes. Yeah, no, that's you got to give that up. That's good.
Yeah.
Look, I just have a couple quick other points. One is, and no, this kind of a clip would be so unremarkable it would never get picked up by a conservative meme account or whatever. But on the exact same podcast, we talked about Jim Irsay. Let me foreground this. Sorry. All of our brains, the problem with social media is all of our brains are conditioned such that if you hear something 5 or 10 times, your brain sort of believes that it's true. And that is like what a lot of this troll stuff is attempting to hack, is that just like part of the way our cognition works. If you were reading this stuff yesterday and going, gee, well, he is a kid, or, oh, maybe he does have a grandfather's name. Just remember, on the same podcast, we talked about Jim Irsay, a white billionaire, owner of the cult, saying he was discriminated against by the police for being a white billionaire. And if that sounds super ludicrous to you, it's that exact same, and then use the fact that he had a black nanny as his reason why he could not be racist. That is like the root of this form of thinking in America, bro. It is just like John said, it is people who feel that being called racist and then there being no consequences, that is racial discrimination. Like, and again, we weren't suggesting that there should be any consequences. We were just saying it's funny and that it's racist, right? Yes. Now, here's the serious conversation. I want to ask you guys about this. And I saw in the replies, there's people saying I'm native and it's not offensive. I'm never going to be a white person saying black people should be offended by this, native people should be, ever in my fucking life. Cool that it didn't offend you. I might have friends. I do have friends who felt that the kid wearing blackface is offensive. That's their right to say and not even be aggrieved or offended, but to say that's racist or it's offensive. I've got people in my family who are native who are offended by people who are very offended, who I've even who don't think that teams like the Chiefs or the Braves should have those names. Mm-hmm. I don't even go that far. I'm not one of those people. I didn't think that the Washington team should have their football team name.
Yeah, but that's OD.
Right, that's a spectrum of things that you can feel and you could talk about with your friends and it's not a big deal or whatever. What I wanted to ask you guys about is the argument that's being introduced today on Wednesday as we're recording this of, well, he has a grandparent who is native. Whether it's true or not, let's assume that it's true. You guys know my kids. I'm their dad. They're half white. My wife is their mom. They're half not white. They are part black. They are part native. You also are aware of how light they are and that they look like white kids with a little something, right? Like they look like multiracial kids with at least half white. You didn't want to call them spicy white? You didn't want to do it?
Spicy white? You didn't want to do it? Not my own.
Cinnamon sprinkled white.
Right.
So, and Shar and I have talked about this with the kids. We've talked about it with each other. I've told the kids, like, if you're listening to rap music, you're leaving out the N-word. That, you know what I mean? Like, you're not saying that out loud. If you get older, you have friends, you're making your own decisions, you're a quarter black, like whatever. But right now, when you're in my custody, I'm going to make this decision for you to a certain extent. And similarly, I would never put them, and this is not the way that my wife interacts with her native heritage, would never put them in a headdress and send them to a football game or something like that, right? But as we move forward as a country, we are an increasingly multiracial country, and I don't think that there are objectively correct answers to these questions. So I'm curious about that from your guys' perspective. If you see Vinny at 15 years old and he's saying the N-word, and because you know him, he has a black grandparent, that's still going to not feel 100% correct to you. Am I right about that? Or how do you feel about this? I've got one grandparent, and therefore I'm making all the decisions about like whatever else. I'm just genuinely curious for your guys' thoughts. And if you want to take my kids out of it, whatever, but I'm curious for your thoughts on that aspect of this.
Race is so, it's something that is so foundational to our existence. It's something that's so like fake at its core too, right?
Yes.
Because its perception is reality. Like, for instance, I'm just going to draw some celebrities who people know, like J. Cole, half black, half white. He can say nigga because he looks
He a
black.
nigga.
Right? Logic, half black, half white. This motherfucker looks like Rick Moranis. It doesn't feel right when he says it. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, perception means so much in these conversations. Like I said, race it's so foundational, and I want to say complicated, but it feels like complicated kind of oversells how much of bullshit it is at its core. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, for me, it's like, how are you experiencing this world? You know what I mean? Are the cops going to pull your ass over and treat you a particular way due to the color of your skin? You know what I mean? I think that plays a part in it. Like, J. Cole looks like a person that experiences the world as black. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He probably dealt with the same shit we did. Logic didn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of people. Like, Somi, she's half Indian. She look more like Rather. I have the same conversation you were having. Having, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Like, but so like that's how I kind of feel about it. Like, how are you experiencing the world? It's just a cop test. Are they on your side or not? Are they paid to protect you or paid to beat your ass? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the litmus test. How will the cops react to you? That's how I kind of feel.
Yeah. There was some conversation like a long time ago. I want to say it was between Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, but where Clinton was like very obsessed with the genetic basis for race. That like there's very little there's no genetic dissimilarity between a black person and a white person tied to their race other than sort of like melanin content, right? Mm-hmm. And that was kind of something like Obama pointed out. Is it's like the big joke of it is, and it's not really a funny joke, but it's funny in the same way that putting your kid in blackface and redface and a headdress and sending him to a football game is funny, there is not a basis, but people using like people identifying as race is not like black people did not choose to be classified as a different kind of person, thus leading to centuries of slavery and segregation and discrimination in this country. That was a choice that white people made. And so then now, hundreds of years later, a decade or whatever, to go, oh, you're choosing to, you're choosing to say that like blackness is the most important thing and that people shouldn't wear blackface is racist of you. It really is like only human beings could come up with something that wicked. You know what I mean? To like judo throw that concept of race. Did you have anything else you want to say? Or you want to move on?
See you in court, I guess.
All right. That's fucking great. Okay. I didn't have this on the topic list, but we have to briefly talk about, we were always for the record, we were always a pro in-season tournament podcast. And boy, have we been vindicated over the last week. I don't understand how anyone could have looked at the NBA in November and said that anything would not have been an improvement. Like, even if all this shit was the NBA signaling Tuesdays and Fridays, you could watch these games and not feel embarrassed. You know what I mean? Like, that has been valuable. And these dudes are hooping their ass off. It was like 6 straight hours of great basketball with the Heat and the Bucks and the Warriors and the Kings last night. And I'm super excited. We haven't even gotten to the bracket yet. The bracket is going to be great. Single elimination tournament, man. I'm so excited we have this shit, and I'm very excited to get to talk about these games all week next week.
Bro, that Kings and Warriors game was so good last night, bro. Like the fucking Malik Monk, the game winner hit, that shit felt like some NCAA tournament shit, right? Like that off balance falling down to seal the win shit. And yeah, and it's like, we've always been on the side of, bro, these games are gonna happen anyway. Why not incentivize them? Why not make them count for more? Like, you gotta play 82 regardless, so fuck it. Make 6 of these motherfuckers count. So yeah, I mean, I love the in-season tournament, and like I said, I was always on the side of telling folks, bro, y'all are gonna love it. Because motherfuckers were bitching and complaining about the play-in, and now we love the play-in too, bro. Just like I said, there is no downside to further incentivizing regular season games. I do not see it.
Exactly.
I saw a Kings fan talking about hanging the championship from the rafters. if they were to win one, hang that. Hey, I love it, bro. Hey, go ahead. What you had to say?
I was gonna say celebrate everything. You know that's the motto here, bro.
Facts. So I mean, yeah, the fans are tapping in too, man. It's made it fun. I enjoy it.
All right, let's talk about this is a big story. We're not going to get super into it, but Sports Illustrated, which is the reason I wanted to be a sports writer. It was the bastion of not just like journalism, but just of great writing, of great profile writing, period, has descended into just absolute nothingness to the extent that there's a revelation that they're using AI generated content from false personas. And I just wanted to make this point. I've been a sports writer for 17 years. I can't imagine being an AI robot and finding out that the card I drew was sports writer. What a fucking bummer. Of all the industries to get pulled into as a robot, sports writing, damn. All right, y'all want to talk about Young Thug's court case? Someone who actually is being seen in court is Young Thug, whose lawyer made the argument that Thug stands for truly humbled under God. The Twitter detectives have also unveiled an old Young Thug tweet saying that swag stands for someone who admires God. I love to see the acrostic legal defense. I feel like it's bulletproof.
Hey, we're a big acronym pod, so I have been enjoying the spin that they're putting on this. But I will say this though, on a serious note, the whole using lyrics in court thing,
bro. That's supposed to be art, bro. Like you gonna use that? Go ahead.
And they pulled up a bar where he said he put 24 M's on his head and that lyric was him talking about Uzi putting a diamond in his head, right? And they said that was him putting a bounty on someone, putting a $24 million bounty on someone. Like, and that's the whole thing here. It goes back to the whole shit that, with the little Chiefs kid. It's just like there are just things here where there's just cultural blind spots for motherfuckers. And you cannot, have those blind spots when someone's freedom is on the line and leverage shit against them that you have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
I doubt Thug has even $24 million liquid to just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just absurd in so many ways. But I mean, if it's you versus United States of America, do whatever you got to do, man. If that's gonna get you, you know what I mean.
And we got to go to youth church, and we got youth church service.
You feel me? If you got to pull that out, hey, do it, man. But yeah, man. And also, who's representing them doing that shit though? Honestly, you know what I mean? Like, how do y'all feel about the case? What do y'all?
I'm with you that like this was in Southern California, the gang identifier tag in terms of how people's files with the police are, like once you're identified as sort of like a gang member, you effectively lose a pretty good chunk of your civil rights, right? It's been documented in, the LA County sheriffs and I'm sure it's been a problem in Long Beach. I don't think I've seen a big piece on it. That that obviously was pretty liberally applied to basically just like black kids generally. You have a friend who has a friend who's in a gang. Now the police can search whatever they want without cause, right? That kind of stuff. And
does that still exist?
I think that there's been some reform around it because of the like sort of high profile stories about it being misapplied, but I don't follow that closely enough to tell you what the status of it is. But to me, it falls under that same tag of like, this is a country where we do have a First Amendment. Some of us who've had 700 people say we're going to get sued are very happy for that First Amendment right now. But like the First Amendment allows, like the First Amendment is so powerful that it's the reason you effectively never see anyone sued for lying. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so all encompassing that yes, it should and does protect you from being able to express yourself artistically. That's like one of the easy things that it protects you from doing. And so I hate seeing anything someone wrote in a song. I think there was like an old sketch, like a Mad TV sketch or something where someone was literally like rapping about like where they hit a body or something, right? It was like at 67th and Marshall, like you're supposed to be able to express yourself artistically without hearing those things read by a judge or a lawyer in a courtroom. That's like one of the few things I think is truly good about the country is the First Amendment. So yeah, it bothers me on a very deep level, to be honest with you. I actually am like a First Amendment. I'm in a, I pay my yearly dues to like a First Amendment legal firm and stuff like that. I really do believe like I don't care how stupid the thing you're saying is. Like this is America, bro. You're supposed to be allowed to be stupid. And we're clearly allowing it in lots of other places. So why not rap lyrics, bro?
Facts.
Do you pay dues? Was that a? That's true.
I make like a $5 donation
Okay.
a year or something like that. Okay. They don't have my credit card, you know what I mean? But I do. But when they send me the thing, I send it in. You know what I mean? Because it's
wrap yourself in an American flag and press the button.
Yeah, but you know what?
What I mean?
But the legal cases that people take up are like a journalist filed a Freedom of Information Act request to find out whether a judge was communicating with someone that they're presiding over a case. And then the judge or someone sues the journalist for harassment or for defamation or something because they're investigating the story. Like a lot of times the people who are doing that work are weird people, like the journalist. That person's often a weird guy that not a lot of people like. You know what I mean? In a small town somewhere in Mississippi or wherever. And so those people need help from those of us who can use social media or whatever, to put some kind of a like legal backing behind them. And I don't know. I really am a kind of a crusader on that shit. So
Sure.
I have a science fact to blow your mind before we get to Tyler's Hippity Hot segment. Are you ready?
Let's go, brother.
All right. Are you aware that since Pluto was discovered, and Pluto is a planet podcast, yes? Do we have that argument?
Yes.
We had that discussion. Yes. John's undecided.
No, I just wanted to argue.
Okay.
My very excellent mother just served us 9 pizzas is gonna live forever. I don't give a fuck.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Pluto is a planet. Are you aware that?
Did you argue against me saying Pluto was a planet though?
Huh? Yeah, I did. But
okay.
Y'all won that, but it's 2-1, bro. I'm not gonna. You know what I mean? This is America. It's democracy. Y'all said it's a planet. It's a planet.
So you just leaned it in? Okay, cool. Go ahead.
Jenkins and Jonez and the other one of you both said that it's a planet. So Are you aware that since Pluto was discovered, it has only completed like a 15% orbit around the sun?
It was discovered in like the 1930s or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Wait. It has never done a full rotation around the sun?
Pluto's orbit around the sun takes the Earth equivalent of 248 years because that's how far from the sun it is. And its rotation to be what we would consider a day takes the equivalent of 153 hours. But I don't know why that just tripped me out so hard that it's like, we consider, even if you're thinking deeply about stuff, there's certain things we take for granted, including seasons and a year, etc.
Right.
We'll all be dead for a long time before Pluto completes one orbit to the same spot in the universe that it was when human beings found it, which happened well before we were alive. Like, I don't know. That just trips.
Yeah,
we're really just dust.
I honestly, I never think of, like you said, we take it for granted. I never think of like Mars, you know what I mean, traveling around the Earth slower. I did think about Jupiter, the days being longer because it's bigger, you know what I mean? But I didn't think it was travel around the Earth at such a different pace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but I didn't think it was, that's crazy.
All right.
Bro, that kind of makes me think it's not a planet. I don't know why. It has nothing to do with nothing. I'm really on my motherfucking.
It's a planet. No. It's settled science on Jenkins and Jonez that it's a planet.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just gives me a feeling. It makes no logical sense why that would be the thing.
It's really out there. It's really way out there, bro. It's 100, 200 years. That's crazy. All right, Tyler.
I mean, it's little as hell, and it's like mostly gas, right? So the gravitational pull doesn't really.
It's
have
mostly
shit.
ice, yeah.
Mostly ice,
yeah.
Frozen gas, right? So,
but that's how big the sun is. That something could be that far away. Like they said. Hold on, there was another stat that kind of blew my mind. So the speed of light is obviously quite fast, right? It takes our sun. It takes 5.5 hours for light from the sun to reach Pluto. Is how far away from the sun.
How fast?
It takes like 6 minutes for us, right, or some shit. I think.
Yeah, something like that.
How fast in miles per hour is the speed of light?
Like 144 million or some shit like. It's a lot of shit. I know it's 144 is in that motherfucker somewhere. I think
it is 6.706 to the 8th.
What about
I have no
light
idea.
makes it? What
I can't even
physical
compute that.
factors?
It's 671 million miles per hour.
What physical factors about light make it faster than sound?
It weighs less.
That's the only thing.
I don't think that's the only thing because sound is a wave and light is a particle.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it does. That's and you know there's this thing. Have you seen this? They've created this like gel that's like so dense that you shoot light through it and it slows down the speed of light.
I haven't
so
heard
you can
about
like
that. No.
see the laser like move across it or whatever. Anyway, all right, we're in the weeds now. Tyler,
No, but the speed of sound is like under 1,000 miles per hour, isn't it?
it can't be very fast because human beings can
Big
reach
can
it.
break it. Yeah,
speed of sound might be that like 140.
It's like 800. I think it's like 800.
It's 767 miles per hour.
Right. So it's.
that
I mean,
ain't
that ain't shit, nigga. Like fighter jets smack that motherfucker before they even get into their full stride. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Bro, our airplanes go faster than that. That's why when you hear an airplane, that's not
what
the
I'm saying,
airplane's
fighter
engine. That's
jets.
them breaking the sound barrier.
I'm talking about fighter jets.
Yeah.
That's that boom. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got the
Sonic
Air Force Base
boom.
down here. Sonic boom. All right, Tyler, rescue us here. We're gonna close as we do every Thursday with Dragonfly Jones's Hippity Hop segment, and we have a very special anniversary to celebrate this week.
So on This Week in Hippity Hop in 1993, the rapper then known as Snoop Doggy Dogg dropped his seminal debut, Doggy Style. Executive produced by Dr. Dre, it was the second album ever released by Death Row Records, following up on Dr. Dre's The Chronic, which was released a year earlier in November of 1992. More than just a sequential continuation of The Chronic, Doggy Style was a sonic continuation of The Chronic as well. So in order to fully grasp the artistic depth of Doggy Style, we have to talk about The Chronic a little as well. So let's talk about The Chronic. All right, so I'm sure all of us are familiar with Dr. Dre's backstory. Member and lead producer of NWA. NWA was signed to Ruthless Records, a record label with Eazy-E and Jerry Heller as the figureheads. Ice Cube was the first to jump ship from NWA, and the group eventually disbanded. Dr. Dre famously fell out with Eazy-E and Jerry Heller and wound up signing with Death Row Records, a fledgling startup label that Dr. Dre co-founded with fellow Compton native, the infamous Suge Knight. The split was far from amicable, however, with Jerry Heller going on record saying that during negotiations, Suge employed illicit strong-arm tactics to get Dre released from his deal. Heller told stories of goons showing up to the Ruthless office with baseball bats, and lore has it that Eazy finally signed Dre over to Death Row after Dre invited him to the studio to talk, and upon his arrival, Eazy was jumped by Suge and his homies and not allowed to leave until after signing the paperwork that relinquished Dr. Dre. Jerry Heller has also gone on record saying that after this incident, Eazy-E disclosed him that he was going to murder Suge Knight. Jerry Heller said he convinced Eazy-E not to, and he eventually regretted talking Eazy-E out of killing him, saying, quote, "You know something? I should have let him kill him. I would have done the world a favor, and Eazy would have done it for sure." But enough about the messy shit. Back to the music.
That's what I was thinking, because Eazy was hard as shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, Eazy was about that. I'm surprised he didn't, you know what I'm saying, make that shit happen. Go ahead, though.
Yeah. Okay, so Dr. Dre, now he has a new start with a new label, and he is also trailblazing a new sound, which will come to be known as G-Funk, Gangsta Funk. So quick etymology lesson on the term G-Funk. It was a spin on the term P-Funk, which was the musical collective of Parliament and Funkadelic, which was what the musical collective of Parliament and Funkadelic dubbed themselves. The P-Funk collective consisted of dozens of musicians, with their most famous members being George Clinton and Bootsy Collins. Parliament Funkadelic were trailblazers as well, as they pioneered a new sound themselves that they dubbed psychedelic funk, a fusion of psychedelic rock and funk. So for listeners not familiar with what psychedelic music is, it's basically music created by artists when they're on drugs that is going to sound even better to the listener if they're high while they listen to it as well. So G-Funk didn't just borrow its moniker from P-Funk, but it borrowed its vibe and aesthetic as well. Dr. Dre heavily sampled P-Funk records in his production. He's famously seen sporting a Funkadelic shirt in his Dre Day video. And that advocacy for getting high that was foundational in P-Funk's music was foundational to G-Funk as well. Weed was foundational to G-Funk. Dr. Dre named his album The Chronic, an homage to him and Snoop's favorite strain of weed. And as for the sonic aspects of G-Funk, it was a complete left turn from the more aggressive East Coast production that dominated the early 90s at the time. G-Funk production was more mellow, laid back with hypnotic grooves. While 1992 New York was churning out headbangers like Throw Your Guns in the Air by Onyx and Punk Jump Up to Get Beat Down by Brand Nubian, Dre was rolling out smooth, laid back cuts like Let Me Ride and Nothing But a G Thing. As mentioned, G-Funk leaned heavily on Parliament Funkadelic samples. And that high-pitched dog whistle synthesizer that Dre utilized will go on to be that sound's trademark as well. So now equipped with this new sound and this new label, Dr. Dre goes on to craft The Chronic, a timeless Mount Rushmore rap album in my opinion. In spirit, The Chronic feels more like a compilation than a solo album. There's only one song on The Chronic that Dre appears on by himself, and there are 3 songs on that album that he doesn't rap on at all. The Chronic is more of a showcasing of the new talent on Death Row Records. It's an album anchored by the production of Dr. Dre as he introduced us to newcomers such as Nate Dogg, Warren G, Lady of Rage, Corrupt, Daz, RBX, and of course the star of the show, Snoop Doggy Dogg. While Snoop was first introduced to us by Dr. Dre on the track Deep Cover, which was featured on the soundtrack of the movie of the same name, The Chronic was Snoop's arrival. He appeared on 12 of The Chronic's 16 tracks and completely stole the show. His star is born on that album, and anticipation for his solo album reaches a fever pitch. So about a year later, after The Chronic's release, Snoop and Death Row Records, with Dr. Dre executive producing, released Doggy Style. Where Snoop had the spotlight on The Chronic, on Doggy Style he has the entire stage to himself and does not disappoint. The lead single, What's My Name, is a quintessential G-Funk track, sampling Atomic Dog by George Clinton and Knee Deep by Funkadelic. Doggy Dog World is an unbelievably smooth track showing off the chemistry with him and his fellow dog pound comrades Daz and Corrupt. Ain't No Fun is such a banger that it makes you forget how wildly misogynistic it is. Lottie Dottie, which covers the Slick Rick song of the same name, is one of the rap's greatest covers ever. It was embraced as a classic immediately by rap fans and was a critical and commercial success as well. Doggy Style will go on to sell 800,000 copies in its first week, which at the time was not only the biggest first week for an album from a debut artist ever, but was also the biggest first week any rap album had ever had up to that point. It is now certified diamond and is widely considered by many to be one of the best rap albums ever and perhaps the greatest West Coast rap album of all time. Although Doggy Style is an album that stands on the shoulders of The Chronic, it's an album that allowed Snoop to forge his own path as he went on to become the biggest star and biggest household name that rap has ever produced. If Deep Cover was Snoop's intro and The Chronic was Snoop's arrival, then Doggy Style was Snoop's coming out party. So Mike, Long Beach mayor in the building, like what was the scene in Long Beach when Snoop first dropped, man?
Well, I was 10 when Doggy Style came out, so I missed the super great I missed the getting to be 15 when that album came out, right? But yeah, I mean that album, I've told you guys, when we all grew up, rap was regional, everything was regional because we didn't have the internet, because we're 900 years old. And so I didn't know, like I've told y'all, like Daz Dillinger knew Snoop. So I thought Daz Dillinger was as famous as Jay-Z until I was like 20 years old. Like Corrupt, like I thought Daz Dillinger, Corrupt, Jay-Z, Biggie, and Snoop Dogg and Dr. Like I thought those were all like equal people, right? And and what I would say, what's unique about Snoop and Doggy Style and the whole G-Funk movement is I've talked about VIP Records a few times. But VIP Records across the street, literally across Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard from Long Beach Poly. You could see from football practices, you could see the famous sign. And Snoop Dogg recorded, he recorded videos of his own and videos with the East Siders where he's standing on top of VIP Records. That is like the physical center of East Side Long Beach of where that music came out of. Yeah. And so that's what I remember is VIP back in the day, which is now a 7-Eleven. There's a smaller version of VIP that I took y'all to when you came out here. Mm-hmm. You could see that sign from everywhere. So it was so iconic. And what I remember was the whole front of that whole mini shopping center would be painted albums. And so I remember the Doggy Style album stayed up there. And so I remember when I was going to Poly, when I was going to high school 4 or 5 years later, you still would see it. And it was just, again, like it was so cool because Snoop, and there's always been people from Long Beach like this, but Snoop, obviously, I think I agree with you, is like the most iconic person. He just made you feel like Long Beach was the center of the world, and Doggy Style made you feel like Long Beach was the center of the world. And again, like it didn't occur to me that that G-Funk wasn't, I thought that's what rap music was going to be. Period. Like I just thought that's what all of rap music had developed into was G-Funk. And what's cool about that is you talk about those specific synthesizers and sounds. That was like equipment that was at VIP Records that they just happened to have this equipment for these dudes to experiment on as they were learning how to, do this stuff. What's My Name is still my favorite single beat of all time. Like I love that. Just the intro to that song. I don't even need to listen to the rest of the song, but like if I'm tired and I have a meeting I have to go to or something, I will listen to the first 15 seconds of that song. So no, you summed all that up beautifully, and I didn't even know some of the history of the Eazy-E. That's hilarious. But wild. It's cool, man, because it's just so central here, and it's remained relevant, and it is one of the few things. Unlike, I mean, as great as Corrupt and Daz, all those guys are, Doggy Style still, it was cool seeing everyone going off about the 30th anniversary, because it's such an important album here that it is like that one thing that we felt like was the center of the world that is still the center of the world. You know what I mean?
Snoop is my favorite rapper ever. Like, I wouldn't say he's in the GOAT discussion, but he is like my favorite rapper ever. I've never wanted to be a rapper more than I wanted to be Snoop. Right? Like, I like Jay-Z, I like Big. I didn't want to be those dudes. I wanted to be Snoop, right? Like, it was just like, when he first dropped with his debut, it was like he won Rookie of the Year and like MVP that year with that album, bro. It was like he became like the top guy in the rap game with his debut album. You know what I mean? And, the run that he had, like, I do think that, his follow-up album was a dud, one of the biggest, disappointments after a classic ever. But I do think that his discography is a bit solid. Like, I love the shit he did with No Limit. I love RNG. RNG is probably my second favorite Snoop album behind, Doggy Style, when he linked up with Pharrell, and Pharrell gave him like 10 beats for that shit. My second favorite Snoop album ever. So, besides him being like my favorite rapper ever, like I said, he's the biggest star that rap has ever produced.
For sure.
Like, he is a household name. Everyone on the planet knows who that dude is, bro.
And if you question that, I could tell you how much money that dude makes to go DJ one set in China, bro. Everyone on the planet knows who that man is. And the other thing I want to emphasize is he did it with his homies, bro. Like, how cool is that? Like, again, rap, Snoop is not, we think of him as a solo act, but he really came up with his, like, best friends. Like, how cool is that? Snoop Dogg, Warren G, Nate Dogg, like, these dudes, obviously you could name 10 other people that were sort of in his circle, but, like, I think that's so cool because it was a community that they came out of, and the community sounded like what living in Long Beach is like. It's fun, it's funny, it's easy, it's smooth, and it's musically influenced. Like, what I love when I've seen Snoop Dogg live is he plays with a live band, because Snoop Dogg, Nate Dogg, those dudes learn music in church. They learn music playing instruments, playing piano, singing in church. You had to know how to go off a run off of someone else. You had to know, the piano's speeding up, I'm picking it up. It's never put the track on, I'm going to do the shit I'm doing and I'm leaving. There's always like a live element of what they're doing. And I think that's part of what's so fun about it to me. It's just like, it's what music is supposed to be. You're right, man. He's famous on a different level. And we would always joke when I was growing up, if someone who wasn't from Long Beach found out you were from Long Beach, the first question they would always ask is, do you know Snoop Dogg, or have you met Snoop Dogg? And what was funny is we would always complain about that, about how stereotypical and dumb that was. But also, most people would have to say, yes, I have met Snoop Dogg.
Snoopy in those streets.
He would just pop up. He would just be at the corner store or whatever. He would just be visiting his mom, and so he would pop up. Like, I went on a tour of Poly with him one time for a Poly football spring showcase when Antonio Pierce was a coach. And he was just saying hi to all his teachers. Like, his middle school PE teacher came, and it was just like, and he still knew everybody. He was still like, he is, for a guy as famous as he is, he's remarkably still like down to earth and solid.
Yeah, I didn't know how famous he was, like, until my freshman year in college. I was at the front desk and we were talking about, like, famous rappers, and I was saying Jay-Z is just as famous as Snoop. And so he was like, bro, no, he's not. I'm like, yes, he is. He's like, let's ask people coming into to the building, if they know who Jay-Z is, regardless of race. Let's ask everybody.
That's so much more fun than checking Instagram followers.
Right. But that was 2002. You know what I mean?
Right. Hit the streets.
Let's do a survey.
Right. Let's ask some real humans. You know what I mean? So everybody that came in, regardless of age, whatever, everybody knew who Snoop was. Maybe 3 out of 10 people knew who Jay-Z was. Like, everybody knew who. I mean, this was 2002. So, like, but yeah, man, like, and one thing about Tyler said about, like, him wanting to be Snoop. The only rapper I ever wanted to be was Tupac. You know what I mean? That's everybody around me, all my like cousins and all that thought, my female cousins like loved him. So I was like,
I feel
he
like
got
that
all the
actually
chicks.
is like very representative of both of you. Like
He
I
got all the
you know
chicks,
what I mean?
so I want Tupac. Yeah, you feel me? But that's what I was on.
We need to
but
remake 2 of America's Most Wanted, bro.
right.
We need to get
Hear
the
me?
boots,
Let's
man.
run it back. You hear me? But no, but like Snoop to me is the coolest rapper that's ever existed. Point blank. So I see why he's your favorite rapper. Like he was cool. He was the coolest in the time when rap was still cool. I feel like 90s was the coolest era of rap, and he was the coolest person during that time period. So it makes sense. But yeah, man, like I didn't know how famous he was until that moment. But yeah, when that album hit, like I was in, I think, Tennessee at the time. And no matter who you were, we was all, you know what I'm saying? We all was tapped in with that. That's the first album I got and had to hide from my people. Like, you know what I'm saying? They had to tune it up outside. I'm like, yo, bro, I need this, but
I've told the story about,
but I
tricking my
can't have
grandma
this yet.
into
Right.
buying me that album. Like you had to put it. I had to put it under, you know, like a Offspring album. You know what I mean?
I put it. I got it. I was downstairs in the basement, and I still put it under my mattress, bro. And I would listen to it on my headphones through my boombox. Y'all remember that? I would put my headphones in my boombox and listen to it, bro. But my mom, she was like, I could get away with much, so like I couldn't just hide it in the album. I would come home and like my backpack would be wide open. She wouldn't even try to put the stuff back in. She was like, I want you to know you can't get away with nothing around here. And it was, I get it, bro. I was on some, but anyway, yeah. But yeah, man, Snoop's special, obviously.
And I'll say something unique about Snoop is that he was like the first gangster rapper that I saw like clowning, like cracking jokes, right? Like I'm not at all saying humor wasn't present in rap. Like you had, you know, acts like De La Soul who were, you know, humorous. You had like, you know, Will Smith and all, and Fresh Prince, you know, they crack jokes. But you didn't see gangsters cracking jokes. Like that little D's Nuts skit, 10-year-old me thought that was the most hilarious shit ever, dog. You know what I'm saying? So that I think that's another legacy of Snoop is he kind of, you know, he helped shit fill out a bit more, right? Like he showed the multi-dimensional shit of these rappers. He showed that, you know, yeah, Crips crack jokes too. You know what I'm saying?
Crips
so
are I guarantee you,
legacy
any
too.
room you're in, if there's a Crip in the room, that's the funniest person in the room. Like I can almost promise you that. Like that's why whenever you'd watch like TV shows where there was like, or you know, like they do it on like movies where it's like, oh no, that's the gang member, and it was always like the most serious, threatening person. It's like that is not my experience of people in gangs. Like, these dudes are the funniest fucking people in the world, bro. The only other thing I wanted to point out, you made such an interesting point about like the about weed and chronic and like how central that was to like the specifics of the sound. Is it's interesting. Here's my race bait of the week. It's interesting to consider the difference in how mushrooms and LSD and Molly are considered linked to certain music in what I feel is like been a very positive way, even though, you know, those drugs were illegal. But weed, it was always like dangerous. You know what I mean? Or it was like negative that it was like linked to that music. And I, you know, obviously a pretty big difference between Snoop Dogg and Pink Floyd racially, but but it's like that like I don't know. I hadn't really thought of that until you pointed that out. But that's very interesting, right? It's like it's known like the Beatles were experimenting with certain psychedelics when they did some of their music, and that's like cool and part of the lore, and like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, even like grandmas and grandpas might be interested in it, but it was very like, you're listening to rap music and smoking weed. It's like
smoking dope.
Smoking dope.
Bro.
Smoking that reefer.
Dope is not weed, bro. You're talking about crack.
You know what I mean? That dog food. Hell no.
That dog food. Or that hard. We ain't fucking with none of that, bro.
Hell
no.
no.
None of that.
But yeah, weed was for sure a staple of G-Funk. Like G-Funk is just, it's so California. You know what I mean? Like the G-Funk sound just feels like California, man. That's why like regionalism was like the best shit to ever happen to rap, in my opinion. Like, you know, the hating that came with that was some bullshit, but you know, I love the distinct sounds there.
Do you think G-Funk is more California than any other genre of music? I mean, to me, yes, but I'm black as fuck and I listen to mostly hip hop. You know what I mean? Growing up. So, like, is there another genre of music that be more California?
There's 90s ska's up there. I feel like.
Yeah, but
what is that?
But 90s ska. It hasn't lasted as long though. I do think there's like a there's like
ska was popping.
Oh yeah,
I heard people. I hear like I'm in movies. People talk about ska and they laugh. Like I didn't know ska was like ever. What's a
Bro,
ska
you
band?
knew like how big No Doubt was in the 90s.
Oh, No Doubt is considered
Real
ska?
Big Dish. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that's got horns in it. If it's got horns in it and it's like upbeat. It's like modern polka.
Okay.
Basically. It's modern polka.
I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
wasn't familiar with the genre.
I think there's also like a style of like sort of a pop punk like beach sound. You know what I mean? That's very distinct to Southern California to me. We had a lot of punk bands get famous. Actually, the same way the rap acts from Southern California, Long Beach would get famous through Power 106. The punk and pop punk bands would get famous through K-Rock. Those are the two big radio stations here. You were a K-Rock sticker on your folder kid or a Power 106 sticker.
Oh, wow.
That was my big social statement was I had the K-Rock and the Power 106 sticker.
Ballads, cultured man.
Yeah, but I do think G-Funk is like, I think if you were to take someone from Russia and play them ska music, pop punk, like Blink-182 or something, and G-Funk, they probably identified G-Funk as Californian most easily. Someone who doesn't know the history of any
That's
of those
crazy.
three genres.
Yeah.
Because Tyler's right. It does sound like it in the same way
It
that
does to me, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I definitely agree, but I'm just wondering, as a whole, as somebody from the area, what y'all
in the
think.
same way that all of Long Beach smells like weed, and I didn't know what weed smell was until I was much older because it's just what everything
It's
smells
just Long
like.
Beach.
All right, y'all. That's all the time we got. Thanks for listening. As always, we'll be back on Saturday with another special interview episode, and then we'll have another regular episode on Monday. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your community notes, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.